Okay.
Much as I love you.
Taking it live. All right. Stream is now live. Okay, we are in the pre-stream. For those of you who join us in the pre-stream, feel free to add anything you want into the comment section. Say hi, bye, or whatever thrills you. I've got some dials and pegs to play with. Get them up stiff and ready. And we're going to put in a little music to carry us through till showtime. And, of course, my wonderful singing. Oscar-worthy, I'm sure. Oh, Grammy-worthy, not Oscar. Grammy-worthy, I'm sure. Oh, gotta start the backup recording device. Oh, yeah.
Don't seem to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Come on now.
Not saying they're right or wrong.
I ain't no Texan dancer or moving right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Chunky and the chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine.
Know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, it's just about showtime. We're wrapping up into the last few seconds of the air, and we're going to take this lovely thing live just because we can. For no other reason than that. Now remember, anyone listening there live, don't forget you can add comments into the chat box anytime you like, and I will try and incorporate them into the show. But it is time to flip it over to the live, so let's do that now. Off we go. Let's wind this puppy up and get her rolling. Bringing in the big guns. It's episode 469 with plugins for feeding your social animal, forum, and other tools. What kind of animal are you? Getting lit and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, where I am sweating just for the joys of bringing you this wonderful podcast. We've got a great show for you today with lots of lovely twists and surprises in it. And, of course, we get a great appreciation out there for the No Agenda Show for their inspiration of ideas and the occasional stolen sound clip.
Squirrel!
This is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. The first thing you can do is get out there and subscribe to the newsletter, hit everyone in the mouth, and tell them about the show, or catch it live every Thursday at noon on the YouTube channel. That's noon Pacific Daylight Time. Okay, well, let's get into it. We are now 28 weeks into 2020 and 17 weeks of the Rona. The doom and gloom seems to be never ending, but have no fear. WP Plugins A to Z is here to lift your soul. This is episode 28 of 52 episodes for 2020. It's episode 469. We are now on the downward slide to the end of this very interesting year. Find yourself an oasis like the one at the Rogue's Tavern and go relax a bit. It is time to start grabbing those great opportunities that are being tossed about right now. Start moving your life forward. The internet has lots of opportunities available for those who are willing to go out there and start themselves a new internet business. While the Rona, riots, protests, and more are not going to go away anytime soon, there are still ways we can make our own little part of the world a little better place to be. And well, if everyone did that, life would begin to change back to what it was before all this mess started. You can help fix this by starting in your own little corner of the world and fix what you can there, then start inspiring others to do the same around you. We worry way too much about things we cannot control. We accept being told to do things that may not be in our best interest. Well, stop that and work on your best interest. And at the same time, respect others. The rewards will follow. And in the area of best interest, I'd like to introduce WP Plugins. To this WP Plugins show, I have a new co-host with me today, and it is Amber Overall.
Coincidence? I think not!
And she will be part of the show going forward. So welcome her to the show by showing some support, send us some information, newsletters, whatever you want to say. Be kind to her, folks. She's relatively new to the WordPress, ClassicPress world. And, well, give her a great, big, amazing round of applause. There we go. It's a little slow, but hey, round of applause for her, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what do we got? We do have, say hi, Amber, by the way.
Hi.
Gotta love it. So I got a squeaky toy here. It's not really a person. When I say hi.
Hi.
There we go, the squeaky toy. All right, well, she'll be talking later. She's going to talk about plugins and such. And as she gets more and more used to being on the show with her crazy old man, she'll relax. You know, you got to remember, not everybody can jump into this insanity right off the bat. All right, so we do have, what do we have for us today?
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right, everybody. Time for tech news. John, do we have tech news?
Oh, absolutely. We do have tech news. All right, so first off, what have I got for tech news? Not a lot of news this week because the show is a little being rejiggered, and we'll figure it out, and we'll have more news next week. But first off, we've got an article here. It is for Admin 2020 Reimagines WordPress Admin and Media Library. This is a plugin of sorts, from what I've been able to gather from the article, where it's going to change out your admin area so that you can customize it, do some other things with it, because of course the WordPress admin has had very little changes since the inception. I mean, going back the 10 years, 11 years I've been working with WordPress now, actually it might even be 12. All that time, the admin areas changed very little. They've added a few tweaks. Some were irritating, some were not. They changed the colors, other than that. But this plugin here, what this looks to do is it reimagines your admin area so where you can put important stuff on the dashboard. But it is a good article. I suggest going and having a look at it. What do you think about that there, Amber?
I think it's pretty neat, actually, the way that the plugin has kind of changed everything about it. There's also a dark version, which is better for people like me. I have a hard time staring at bright screens for a long period of time, but the dark screen, I've turned just about everything I can dark, and not everything in WordPress has that dark option. So having a dark option for the admin would be pretty cool. Yeah,
there we go. So make sure you go check that article. It is linked in the show notes. The next piece of news I do have for you. This is from WP Beginner, which is a really great place for those that are just starting out WordPress to go check out what is happening in WordPress, or to learn some things. Even now, even today, when I'm looking for a piece of code or something, I do a search on it. WP Beginner often pops up in the results with the answer for what I'm looking for. So make sure you check them out. But they've got an article here about what's coming in WordPress 5.5. and all the new features that are coming in it, along with screenshots for it. They've got things such as the UI improvements for the block editor, if you're into the Gutenberg block editor, the block patterns that are coming, the streamline management tools, the inline image editing, etc. All the new features that are coming. You want to get ahead of the curve with WordPress, go check this out.
I especially on that one appreciate the idea of being able to fix up your photos and stuff inside of WordPress rather than having to go somewhere else, fix up the photo, then you can upload it and have it look different once you upload it.
Okay. So there's some other little bits and pieces of it. Okay, so this is the point here where we do like to thank those who have given support for the show. And of course, this show doesn't work without you, the producers of the show, being a value for value model. And that means if you're getting any value out of it, does the show save you 5 minutes of time? Does it provide you with information, entertainment, anything like that? What is that worth to you? For some people, it's worth money. For other people, it's worth hiring me. For others, it's worth sending artwork and more to us. The biggest thing we need here, of course, is...
we just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Cash works well. But in lieu of cash, you can do things like contribute to the art. Every week I change the show art, the art that goes out into all the podcast apps that plays up, the art on the show notes pages, etc. And for the last several months, I haven't had to do the art, which has been fantastic. Now, granted, a vast majority of art has come from one person, with another person supplying some recently. We'd like to see more. We've had a few people supply it. Of course, this week's art, again, comes from Angel Lamu of Koa Digital. And this one's kind of cool. It's a nice couple of planes. I'm not certain what type of planes they are. They look kind of like crop dusters, but I'm not sure. At any rate, it's a cool image. If you're watching the live stream, you can check out the image now. It's up on the screen. And you can provide the artwork. Just go to the WP Plugins A to Z art generator and submit your artwork to this show. Really easy to do. So thanks again, Angel. Greatly appreciate it. Next thing we like to do is acknowledge the executive producers of the show. That's those that have supplied money to the show. And if you donate $50 or more, you can get a note read out and any links in it linked into the notes in the show notes, etc. This week, we don't have anyone but anyone who becomes below $50 remains anonymous. We do thank you very much. There are a couple of small handful of small subscriptions that help support this show. Doesn't pay for anything, doesn't even put a beer on my table, but it does help offset the costs of doing this show a little bit, because it does cost, folks. Whether you believe it or not, it costs some time, money for the servers, etc. There's lots of little small incremental costs that most people just don't take thought of. And anything you you can do to help support that would be fantastic. And I do like to thank those who have hired me because of listening to the show. That's as good as donating to the show. And those remain anonymous also, unless they specifically ask to be mentioned in the show. So thank you very much. Okay, how you can support the show? Get out there, of course, I said, donate money. Go to the WP Plugins, A2Z.com/donate, or submit artwork to the generator. You could also submit news and articles and information that we can use in the show. You can do that through the contact form or submit plugin suggestions for plugins that we can use for review. You give us all the information and we'll put it on there verbatim as you say and give you the credit for submitting the plugin. Great way to, promote yourself if you like. And of course, we still have Patreon out there. Not that we have a lot of Patreon donors, but I've still got it running. Anyway, thank you very much to everyone. And that takes us into time to head off to the meat and potatoes of the show. Okay, so here we go. This week, ClassicPress options. Don't have a lot for ClassicPress options. I didn't get any plugins researched for it. So again, ClassicPress is kind of peripheral at the moment because virtually all 90+% of all my work right now is in WordPress. So ClassicPress has taken a back seat just because I've got to work where the money's at. I am trying to keep ClassicPress promoted because ClassicPress is a great CMS system. It is, of course, based off of WordPress 4.9 and doesn't have all the Gutenberg hoopla in it, so it makes it a little different. Those two are getting ready to hit dividing lines and head down separate paths. It'll probably happen next year for sure, and that's just the way it is. But ClassicPress will still have a place. Now, there are a couple of things in here. The usual ClassicPress resources over at ClassicPress Club, the ClassicPress.net forums, the stuff from Code Potent, and on and on. So all those links are in the show notes. Go check that information out. Okay, it is time now for the main event. And what we're going to be talking about here is the WordPress plugins and which ones I've got, and of course, which ones Amber has brought to the table today. So this should be loads of fun for everyone. So let's start off. The first one I've got for you here is called Social Feed Gallery. Now, this plugin here is a really great plugin that I discovered. Now, it's partly a need for me, but also a client of mine needed a replacement for their Instagram feed plugin that was built into their theme. And what happened was Instagram recently changed their APIs, thereby breaking everybody's plugins out there, so that the authors had to go in and rewrite them. Well, some authors opted to say, to hell with this, I'm done, and they abandoned it, which is what happened with my client. The developer of that theme with that plugin said, yeah, we're done. We're not going to update that plugin. Go find yourself something else. So I had to do research on a few of them, and I found this one here. And what I was looking for in particular, a lot of the Instagram feed plugins I found wanted to either give you single image at a time or a block of image, either 3x3 or 4x4 or 2x2. They didn't do a single row. And that's what I was needing, because that's what her site needed in particular, was to lay a single row of Instagram images down and also have a very easy way to connect to Instagram. That was also key. So when I got into it and I found this one allows you to create either the blocks or the Mason galleries or the carousel or the rows. And that was one key. The other was connecting it to Instagram was as simple as installing it, going in, hitting a couple of buttons, logging in the Instagram account, allowing it access, boom, it was done, created the tokens, and you were all set to go. So it was a really great, simple, easy one to use. Now, of course, normally something like that would get a 5-dragon rating, but in this case here, I have to knock it back to a 4 because this is the free version and there's a premium version that I didn't test out. So automatically, if it's got a premium version, I knock it back by 1 point because I can't give it a full rating. So at any rate, I recommend this one out, Social Feed Gallery. I give it a 4-dragon rating.
My first plugin is Forminator. It's actually a pretty cool plugin. I found it for a client's site. They were interested in doing quizzes, and this plugin allows you to do quizzes as well as forums or polls. It's really easy and a lot of fun to work with, I found. The only real issue I had with it was the integrations part. but I'm kind of unfamiliar with integrations in general. So that is mostly due to me. Although I did manage to get MailChimp to work pretty easily, even though I was kind of at a loss for how. I did figure it out really, really well. I'd rate this at 5 dragons.
Uh-oh. There we go. We're slipping. Brain shifted. Well, it's actually a pretty interesting plugin. I haven't touched Forminator myself. I left that all to her because it was like something I really didn't want to dig into. But quizzes are big, people. You can create quizzes, collect email addresses, and sell them all kinds of wonderful stuff. Go check this one out. Okay, next up for you, I have Change user group for Asgaros forum. Now, the Asgaros forum I reviewed back in episode 468, which would have been last episode. Really great forum plugin. I described how useful it is, and I, excuse me, I discovered that there's a lot of tools for the Asgaros forum that are available as free plugins. This is one of them. And the site I was setting the forum up on had a membership section running through WooCommerce and with different levels of members. And this plugin allows you to set up different levels of access to the forums based upon their membership level, based upon their WooCommerce purchase receipts, etc. Really great tool, something to go check out. I give this one a 4 dragon rating.
The next plugin that I reviewed was Responsive Lightbox. I was looking for this for a site that I'm working on. It's an art gallery site, so I'm trying to find a way to make all of the pictures and everything look pretty. And this one it's pretty cool. I managed to figure it out after only a little bit of playing around with it. It's nice because you can actually load up a lot of pictures at once, and you get to figure out how big or small, or even if you want to have frames around there, what color the frames are. And you can change how many rows there are, how the rows show up, and you can change this so that it looks haphazard or nice, neat rows. It's really nice, actually. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Oh, another winner.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding. We got another winner. All right. Well, I don't know much about this plugin here, but definitely go check that one out. Okay. The final one I've got for you today is another Asgaros forum plugin. This is called Toolbox for Asgaros forum. Now, with most things, you always need to add a few tools here and there to make your life a little more easy, a little more difficult. Well, it depends on what kind of tools you add to it. Well, what this one does for you is it adds some entries into the site to allow you to do custom menu entries for the Asgaros forum. It also allows you to integrate more shortcodes into the forum profile and into the Ultimate Member profile. And this one here also creates a custom tab for the Ultimate Member profile for the forum history. Now, this goes with if you're using Ultimate Member as your tool for managing the membership of the site. Ultimate Member is really a great plugin. I use it on a couple of websites for membership stuff. But you'll want to go check this one out, see if it's a tool you can use if you're using the Asgaros forum. If you're still looking for a forum, go check out the Asgaros forum. Check out the review I did for that back at episode 468. And I give this one a 4 dragon rating.
And the last one I have is Elementor Essential Add-Ons. I specifically plugged this in for the gallery options, but once it was up and going, I realized that the Lightbox option, it's only there if you upgrade. That kind of sucked because I was hoping to be able to fiddle around with that. Although I did notice that there was at least 38 extra widgets that you get once you load this in. And it's got some pretty neat ones. There's one called a filterable gallery, which it seems okay. Not as good as the other one, but it's all right. The other options that it gives you for just adding it in are they're pretty good and useful. The problem that I found with it is that you need to upgrade in order to get the really good ones like Lightbox, MailChimp, Google Interactive. I really didn't like that, so I'm going to bring it down to I guess 4. But because the widgets that you do get, they're actually pretty decent if you're looking for those.
It's not a bad plugin. This one here I have used, and they do have a premium version of this plugin available also, which gives you even more widgets. And I have also used this one on a couple of Elementor sites to add in a couple of their very specific widgets. They have some very specific widgets, I don't recall them at the moment, that you just really can't find anywhere else. So if you're building an Elementor, this is a plugin you do want to look into. And it could be worthwhile getting the premium version. I think I might have a license for the premium version. I'm not sure. I have so many licenses these days, it's hard to keep track. But at any rate, definitely go check out the Elementor Essential Add-Ons plugin. It's well worth your time. And of course, links for all these plugins are in the show notes. So make sure you go check out the show notes over at wppluginsa2z.com. And currently, this show is brought to you by Save Time and Money Managing Multiple WordPress Websites. If you have several WordPress websites to manage, either for your clients or yourself, then you know how much time it can take managing them all. Time that is spent on mundane administrative tasks and then losing that time for your important business tasks. CMS Commander is an online service that solves this problem and makes managing multiple WordPress websites fast and easy, as simple as controlling a single site. By placing all your websites in one powerful dashboard, CMS Commander makes it possible to update, backup, and manage them all at the same time in one place. Features of CMS Commander include one-click updates of plugins, themes, and WordPress core for all sites, automatic scheduled website backups, website cloning and restoration, uptime monitoring and analytics integration, bulk posting and automatic content. Sign up now for your 14-day trial at cmscommander.com and access all the features that will allow you to manage more websites and save time. Absolutely. As I've said, I've been using CMS Commander for about 8 years now, since it was brand new. Great plugin. Please use the wppluginsa2z.com CMS Commander /CMS Commander link in the show notes. It is an affiliate link. That is an affiliate ad. They don't actually pay me for that ad, but if you ever want to pay for that ad spot, feel free to reach out to me. I'll happily get you in there for a small fee. Okay, so this is where we're going to go on and talk about contests. Well, we don't have one yet. We do have a couple lined up. We have a couple of people lined up to give us some keys, premium plugin keys. We just got to get all that together and make sure it's pulled together and set up for contests. I'm hoping by next week we will have that set up and running for you. Now, for all of you developers who want to support the show, you can donate a premium license to be used in a future contest. Just go to wppluginsa2z.com /plugin contest to submit all the pertinent details. Now, closing out this episode, here's the plugins that I covered up. I covered up the social feed gallery, which I gave a 4 to, the change user group Asgaros forum, which I gave a 4 to, and the toolbox for Asgaros forum, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered the Forminator, which I gave a 5 to, responsive Lightbox, which I also gave a 5 to, and the Elementor Essential Add-Ons, which I gave a 4 to.
Okay, and just a couple quick reminders. Everyone, remember to say, send in a comment, say hi to Amber, welcome her to the show. She's going to be around for a while, I think. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast later, you're going to have to jump over to the YouTube, because after the show closes out, we're going to have a little chat with her off the recording that goes out into the main feed. So if you want that, you're going to have to go catch the YouTube channel at the very end of the show. Now, I'm also still looking for a meetup in August. I haven't decided on a date yet, so I may still have a meetup in August. It'll be an afternoon on a Sunday somewhere up mid-island of Vancouver Island and outdoors, in a nice outdoor setting. So I'll let folks know once I've decided on that. Another good thing, there is a new interview with a developer, Christian from Shoutworks. I had a great interview with him yesterday, and we're getting that all edited up and getting it published. We'll have it published up for next week, so make sure you check that out. It was really interesting learning about Shoutworks. So make sure you catch that interview when it comes out next week. Now, if you'd like to be on an interview show, simply connect with me at wpplugins.com/interview. You can go book a time slot. I have time slots specifically set aside for interviews. So check them all out. If you want to know more about me and my lunacy, go check me out at theroguestavern.com, where I've got adventures into the wild, searching for gold, hiking, camping, out on the gun range, building my oasis, and more. And that's pretty much all I got. So I'm going to let my girl take us out of here. And remember, stick around after the show.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get
I
notifications.
gotta talk over her. Forgot my tequila shot.
Follow the show on Twitter at WP
Down the hatch.
Plugins. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca.
Good tequila.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty. Okay, so that's a wrap, folks. And real briefly here, because there's really not a lot of time during the show, it's kind of scripted out a bit. We'll take a couple of minutes, chat with Amber a little bit, see how she feels after her first foray into the podcast world. I don't believe she's ever done a podcast before. I'm sure she's heard me do this a few times and thought I was just a crazy old man talking to himself in the corner in his office. But so what do you think, Amber? How was it?
Kind of weird, honestly. I've never been on any kind of show at all.
Well, you get used to it over time. The more you do it, the easier it happens.
So the more I do this, the crazier I'll get, the more comfortable I'll feel. Good to know.
That's pretty much how it works. That's pretty much how it works. You just kind of relax, you get to it, realize there's really nobody out there listening. There's nobody there. We do have a couple of comments here. We do have Hemdian. He said, "Hi, Amber. Good show."
Awesome. Hi. Thank you.
You know, and then I've got the comments of, you know, I was asking myself, wondered when I would forget when I would remember the tequila shot, because you know it's become a pretty much staple of the show now. And how could I forget the tequila? I know, shocking. It stares at me right there at the edge of the screen too, and I get so busy with all the buttons and knobs and all the screens I got to look at and checking to make sure levels are all good and they go adjusting.
I know what the problem is. It was camouflaged into the little hat.
That's the problem. It's got its new little hat, you know. You can look on the video there. It's got a new little hat there. It doesn't come through very good, though. Well, there it is. There it is. Yeah, because you got to remember, I've got a special screen thing on here so that the camera, it wipes out my office behind me and puts up a great photo. And there's a really great photo in the back. That's not my daughter on the horse with the gun, but you know that would be my daughter on the horse with the gun if she had an opportunity for it, though. So, tell me, Amber, you're going to be with the show regularly now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to say to folks out there? You know, just not yet?
Not quite yet. My brain is still kind of frozen.
Okay. Well, we'll unfreeze her brain. And in coming shows, we'll have these little tete-a-tetes after the show at the end. We'll help get her warmed up and used to it. Pretty much by the time she's done, you know, 5 to 10 shows, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's nowhere near like me. This is episode 468 of WP Plugins. Plus, I've done other podcasts that I've taken up to 40 and 50 episodes. I think I've done 3 other podcasts. They got like anywhere between 15 and 40 episodes, and I abandoned them. The other thing I was counting the other day, the number of interviews. The next interview show coming out is interview 52, but that's when I started counting. I figured out that I've probably done 100 interview shows also. So I've done over lots and lots of shows out there. So I've gotten pretty used to doing this over time, even though my tongue still trips over itself and my brain freezes and I can't remember the words, but hey, that's all part of the game. And I said to myself, good show, Amber. So I've got I've got this magic ghost out there that uses my login to make comments on YouTube.
Oh, that's what you're meaning.
Yeah,
I was kind of wondering that.
The comment came from John Overall.
Oh, okay.
But it's not me. It's the magic ghost that does that for me. That gets out there. I believe that's my marketing manager handling that task for me. So, at any rate, thanks a lot, folks. I greatly appreciate it. No major comments this week from folks, but we did have four people watching live that stuck around through the whole show. So, thank you much. I greatly appreciate it. You all take care. I'm going to wrap it up at this point, and we'll be back next week for another show. Take care now. Bye-bye. Okay, we're off the air. You did great.